My name is Danny. I'm the developer on Novel Universe, which is a game, and this is
Hi, I'm Shane. I am also a developer on Novel Universe.
yeah, we're developing this game because we've been wanting to develop a game forever. I mean, well, initially, I guess we wanted to start a WYSIWYG clone, which was like a
Yeah, if you want to
gaming.
go all the way back, yeah,
Yeah, what
yeah.
was it? It was like a gaming. You pay by the hour to game kind of thing, right?
It's an extinct business model now. Land centers,
Land
nobody
Center.
really. Yeah, I don't think anybody really needs it anymore over here. They gotta still be out there, cyber cafes technically, but centered around gaming. Yeah, way back when we first, like in the first few years that we met, which was what, 20 years, 20 something years ago. Well, yeah, we've always wanted to do some sort of project together, and now it looks like we're finally making it happen.
So we came up with this idea for a game. I came up with the technology because I was like, I discovered PBBGs and I was like, I can do this. I can build a browser based game. I didn't know people would play a game that was just in the browser with text and buttons. so, um,
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah,
as soon as you said why you wanted to do it, I totally appreciated that because, we've both done our fair share of creative projects, whether that be you and your coding or me and more like design, multimedia, fashion. But I always think that whenever you try to do something, it's always great to you cobble together everybody's skill sets and you work from there. Like, what can we build with what we have? Which is exactly what you did.
yeah, exactly. I've found that throughout this project is the limitations are great at guiding some of the creativity. And if you
Yeah.
just accept the limitations, it really does help you kind of find unique things that work really synergistically with the technology. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like you can't do that, so we're not going to do that. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
One example of the limitations is just it's much better to build a web app at all, whether it be a game or anything, where everything is user action based as opposed to a long running process in the background. And web technology has moved in this direction with serverless technology. Everyone wants to do serverless because you pay a lot less money and you pay exactly what you use. Um, so everything's built around that now. But that means you can't have a game loop, which every Steam game pretty much has a game loop. So it's a very different technology and a very different paradigm. But I found working within that limitation of the user changes the state of the game pretty much, and nothing changes unless the user does something, has been an interesting limitation in a lot of ways. And we can get into that further, maybe in another episode or something. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, because I mean, that's what these things are about. Like that's why we're making devlogs, is we can, for one, easiest way to just get the name out there for what we're doing if people are interested. That's awesome. But also, people can listen to you and hear and learn from your mistakes and your journey, as it were, making this. And so maybe we can help some people, and at the same time, maybe some people can hear about our game. Win-win.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I hope that people can get something out of this. If they get anything out of it, it's that you can do it. Like that,
Yeah.
the guy I interviewed before, he didn't know anything about development, but he wanted to build a game and he just started developing. Especially with AI now, it's like so easy to get started. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
why not build a game?
Very true. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about AI because it's quite prevalent when it comes to novel universe. Um,
Yes.
so, so we've known each other for 20 something years. We met in high school and
Yeah.
we try to keep in touch. We're both busy people. You got family, we got jobs, everything like that. We try to keep in touch. One of those such times, we found out that we were both having really bad days.
Yeah.
and um, because of that, we started looking for, you know, it's something to kind of get us out of that funk. Um,
Yeah.
we wanted to make something, maybe check off one of those bucket list items, finally have a project together, make something together. Because, you've always had your set of skills and I've had my set of skills. It's like, man, if we can put those together, we could probably make something pretty cool, but never got around to it.
Yeah, yeah, we've got actually a lot of really talented friends. I mean, Tim with music and Dave's a really technical guy, but
Mhm.
yeah, us. I think with you doing design and me doing the coding, I think we could make something really cool, and we're on our way.
Yeah, that we basically had that phone call, and the spark was kind of the spark had ignited something, and maybe like the next day, that's where you decided
PBBGs, yeah.
yeah, PPBG, yeah. That's when you decided that. You told me about it. We started thinking about ideas, and then, maybe just a few days later, you give me a call, and you've got this idea. You send me an audio message detailing the idea, and I had a few in my head. I was thinking of some stuff, but as soon as I listened to your little explanation, I was like, nah, yeah, that's what we need to do. That's a good idea. Super interesting, combining the best stuff that we've seen work and be fun and PPBGs while implementing AI in like a totally new and interesting way, at least as far as I was concerned. So yeah, that's we started on that. It was a done deal.
Yeah, I think my initial idea for AI was very different than what we ended up implementing, and you really helped me with that because my initial idea was like AI would control your fleets for you, and you'd like set up strategies,
Hmm.
and it didn't really make a lot of sense when I started implementing it. But you had that idea for the lore, and now that's like the key kind of really cool feature of the game, that there's this like universal or galactic lore system that sets that you, the player, can generate in the world. You generate lore, and that becomes the state of the galaxy for everyone, right?
Yeah, it's
That's
like
pretty cool.
you're this permanent part of history or societal norm that you create, and anybody in it, and it becomes a permanent part of the entire world that everybody's a part of. Yeah, love it. Um,
Yeah, even like laws and stuff. That's pretty cool. But that's the
yeah,
example we found, is like the AI created a law just out of nowhere, but then we're going to now add it to the lore so that everyone has to follow that law, or everyone knows about it at least.
yep. And it was like a very typical like human rights law for not doing human testing in science facilities, something silly and understandable like that. But like, yeah, that would probably be in there in a moral universe. That would be in those some sort of galactic bylaws to treat your fellow man decently and not do that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
um,
it's really
totally
cool. The
believable.
player gets to participate in that. Yeah.
Yeah. um, so we kind of touched on it a little bit, but the I suppose at that point, once we had decided on the idea, the next like few weeks were just so much fun because it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, brainstorming, coming up with ideas. Just the sky's the limit, and like even like you said, like the concept for the ship combat and strategy, employing strategies for like a unique combat system, it's still totally possible
Totally.
within the framework of novel universe's systems. So like, yeah, it didn't get it. We moved towards something different, but like, why not? Why not have that happen sometime in the future? It'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, we this is a 3x game. Explore, expand, and exploit.
Mm.
And then the fourth X of the 4X genre is exterminate, which we don't have right now. But eventually, yeah, that could be like the exterminate part of it, and we can add that in. That'd be
Yeah,
really
why
cool.
not? It's with the game's concept is very open ended. There's a lot of different things you can do and a lot of different things that could be added. Especially when you consider like you got AI running the system or running the story in the background. There's a lot of interesting paths we could take in the future. For show.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to just having something in players' hands so that they can be a part of the process of like giving us feedback and developing and stuff, and then we can, yeah, really see what we're capable of.
Definitely. Maybe we should talk a little bit about just the core gameplay of both sides of it. The way I've kind of talked about the gameplay experience is by breaking it up into two sides. You have the typical persistent browser-based uh, game loop with a couple of unique twists, but then you have the artificial intelligence side of it that's running the story and the characters and the kind of the kind of the life of the lifeblood of the game.
Yeah, I would love to get into kind of the game loop because that's the hardest thing I've found to work on is one, trimming it down. That you have all these ideas and you want to do it all, but then you realize that's not a comprehensible game loop, and it just ends up not being a fun game loop.
Mm-hmm.
So refining the game loop and saying no to ideas has been the really difficult part of the game loop. But we've trimmed it down pretty far to where you have this ship that's like your body throughout the galaxy, and you can recruit people onto the ship, and those people can help you improve your ship. You talk to the AI, and they do like projects. It's like, you know, talking to Scotty in engineering, and he's like working on the hyperdrive. You know, you can get him to like fix things, and that'll give you upgrades and make your ship more efficient and stuff. And then you go around to different planets, and when you find the new planet, you have to make this big decision. The big decision in the game loop is, do I populate this planet and make it a productive source of resources and a productive thing in our territory to expand our territory, or do I collapse this planet, destroy any future potential that it could ever be populated, but gain access to a new star system? And so that's the main game loop, I think.
What people have to understand is, if you maybe even if you're new to the persistent browser based game genre, you know, there's a lot of them that are mostly text based. There aren't so many visual elements. It's naturally it's running in your browser, and a lot of it is left to the imagination, which is why I think the story side of this of Novel Universe will be so interesting, and so and it fits so well into this particular kind of genre of game. For instance, the way you mentioned, you have a ship, you explore, and you're looking for resources so that you can explore further. You're recruiting people to upgrade your ship. You're terraforming planets to make them habitable. You know, that entire process, the AI is working with the mechanics that you've built for the game to not just develop story for your characters or for locations or for events in the world, but to actually create tangible items or technically, ship parts or equipment, or even like buildable locations. And like in the example we used before, you recruited a science officer, which used the resources you've been gathering in various ways to, pay for that science officer. That science officer was then deployed to a planet that you terraformed, which is a whole other process, that we haven't talked about yet. When that character is employed by you, it's given, its own backstory and what kind of its own personality, and that science character uses its backstory and personality to let you know whether or not it can do certain tasks that you give it. One of those tasks, you ask the science facility character on your terraform planet to build a facility, and because they were capable of doing that based on their abilities and their persona, they were able to agree to build it. They were able to tell you how much of your resources it would take to build, how long it was going to take, and the benefits that having that facility would apply to your planet. So it's that fantastic marriage of game mechanics and the AI story running that I think is really unique about this game and make it very interesting.
Not only is the story player generated because it's based on conversations, but that actually has game mechanic and gameplay consequences. And those even are kind of global to everyone, because you're kind of sharing this scientific state of the universe, this lore system.
Yeah, the lore system, that those interactions that you had with the AI become a permanent part of the world. Very cool. The reason that we settled on Novel Universe as the name for the game is pretty easy. Quick little breakdown. You got universe, you're exploring the universe the sky's the limit. You're you're doing all the fun things you could do in when it comes to a persistent browser based game in space. You know, resource management, visiting planets, terraforming, exploring the unknown, and helping other players explore with you. And when it comes to novel, it's just a fun play on words when it comes like novel, book, story, you know, but also novel, unique, um, you know, because the player originally in the original concept and what we're attempting to implement here is to give players a way to write stories um, as they travel throughout the universe, and those stories have life given to them by AI in a whole lot of fun and interesting and unpredictable ways. So people who want to make interesting decisions and have interesting outcomes and you know, just experience this kind of living breathing world, um, people who are interested in something like that, you know, we think that they would be interested in playing this game. So that's who we're trying to reach with what we're doing here.
The reason that I was really excited about the novel part of Novel Universe is that I know so many of my friends who are writing novels or stories of some kind, and I really wanted to give them a fun way to tell stories in a shared way with each other. So if people are interested in maybe getting into kind of co-writing a galactic story, hopefully this is the game for them.
That's right, because when you interact with the stories in Novel Universe, other players can interact with the same story. You know, so it's there's a whole lot of hopefully a whole lot of interesting things are going to come out of that.
Yeah, yeah, you can even talk to the same character and they'll know things that you can like learn from about like other characters and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yep, definitely. Well, cool, man. Well, hey, it was a pleasure stopping by to do this first devlog with you.
Yeah, this is fun.